Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Jeliel, and I am here today to talk about the energies from February 16th until February 22nd. So, among transits of minor impact, we have three key events that are not, part of this week only. I'm going to describe them first. February 16th, the Sun in Aquarius creates its last square with Uranus in Taurus in the next 70 years and more, because Uranus is going to move to Gemini in a few months. Later, we have February 17th, the annular solar eclipse in Aquarius. We don't have eclipses in Aquarius as North Node from 2009. And this event opens a cycle for the next 6 months. And on February 20th, we have the conjunction between Saturn and Neptune in the degree 0 of Aries. And this conjunction is initiating a process for the next 36 years. So we have to understand that the impact of both, the things that are going away and the things that are emerging in our individual lives. This is not something that we could take a dimension in the next days, not even in the 2026. This is something that we are going to comprehend, by the years. And this is exponential regarding collective topics. So, moving from the eclipse, which is the event that contains the square with Uranus and the conjunction between Saturn and Neptune, in the last days, many people are experimenting the sensation of wanting to change. Could be in a specific area of life, or in general, it is emerging this need of changing in areas that were associated with security through perhaps situations that were very chaotic, sad, and disruption. Whether this is regarding a relationship or another project of life. So that what we are experimenting in our lives is what is extended to the collective in a magnified way. In the collective, the energies that are manifested are the ones that most of the individuals are sustaining, and that's why our own increasing of our individual consciousness is vital for this planetary transformation. So I wanted to remind you that the rulers of Aquarius are both Saturn and Uranus. Saturn is the one that builds structures, and Uranus is the one that breaks them or brings this renewal. So a higher creative potential can be expressed. This means that eventually we all have to make a detachment, disidentification, I don't know if this word exists, of mental constructions, of perceptions, also material constructions, because in the end our physical body has also a limit to access a new level of freedom, a higher level of freedom. This doesn't mean that we cannot build anything because it is not going to serve later. On the contrary, constructions could be that step can put the foundation for what is coming. It is that scientific discovering of 40 years ago, the one that enabled the following ones. Could be the relationship or that experience in your job, the job that perhaps you let go of, that you are letting go of, the one that helps you to make this process of self-knowledge and to understand how your soul wants to express creatively, or what kind of exchanges or ways of life the soul wants to experiment. But it is very important to understand that we cannot, we shouldn't, if we really want to grow and experiment life with greater plenitude, turn our constructions in closed systems. Because if we are closing ourselves in a behavior that is limiting us, in a perception, in an experience, or a relationship that is draining our energy till the point that we are resisting the new forms of in which life wants to circulate, we are opposing ourselves to the nature of creation, of the universe. And this is not only going to bring suffering, but also prevents us from every evolutionary possibility. Stability, it is not a fixed experience, something that we cannot move. It is us reconnecting with our center through the infinite changes. And it is this attachment to the illusory security especially when that cannot contain this increasing of the consciousness that turns into a prison in which the soul cannot express its creative energy and nor experimenting freedom. I am not talking about a freedom of doing whatever thing we want from our egos, but from an inner experience that approaches us to the source, to the total unity. For this reason, this sensation that we have to let go of the floor that some time sustained us, the control of the when and the how, letting go of wanting to put a label into the things that we are becoming, into the parameters that we already know, to allow the void, to allow us to inhabit the void without wanting to cover that desperately with whatever thing that is not meaningful, because we are so afraid of uncertainty, and to really open ourselves to a different revelation that perhaps we don't know which is that revelation, but we can intuitively perceive that is going to produce renewal and that is full of life. That is the thing that is most difficult for us human beings to transit, the energy of Aquarius. But it's this, the thing that we need to train ourselves as the beginners of this era. This is very, very important because we are precisely in this transition. And now going to the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune in the degree 0 of Aries. This involves a construction, of course, but that cannot emerge from obsolete bases, both in the social plane as the individual one. Therefore, we are not talking about initiatives that we are taking in an impulsive way to conquer temporary satisfaction, an illusory one. We are invited right now to identify intention, to align ourselves with actions, projections, visions that we can really feel, that have profound connection with who we came here to be and to do. And not all are going to have clarity about this, because there are processes of self-discovering, and there are experiences in which we need to allow the dissolution of the barriers of the ego. I mean, parts of our identity that precisely are creating limitations, that are closing ourselves to act and to make our life something meaningful. And with meaningful, I am not referring to this constant seeking of external recognition, social status, or the obtention of material results as a mechanism of confirmation that we are enough, that are making us live in the hamster wheel, and that is not going to bring genuine satisfaction. I am referring to question ourselves and to ask ourselves, if we knew that our life is going to end in short, in a few days, evaluating if we are really doing of our experience something that we perceive with purpose and sense. If we continue to do the same, or we would do something different, because life in this plane is limited. And I am pronouncing things in a weird way. So again, this approach, it is not to put ourselves the pressure of the time that commonly emerges from social constructs. I should have conquered this thing by this moment. It is not about that. It is about questioning ourselves if we really we are doing what we can do among our possibilities and among our limitations in the actual process that we are experimenting, to create this life full of sense, to make our days sacred for oneself and for the people that are surrounding us. So this moment is all that we have. And what is going away with this eclipse and what is collapsing are the word right now, but are the vessels that cannot contain the essential right now. And we are going to see this in a greater magnitude in the collective level in the next time. There is nothing to fear if we are really willing to let go of that cannot contain the essential, and to open the way, aligning ourselves with the divine that lies in us, because that is the true force, the one that has impulsed us through the challenges and difficulties. It is not the ego battling. It is also that force, the one that can move us to create a life in a different world, a happier one. Taking care of our portion of reality and doing whatever thing we are feeling from the soul that we need to do to contribute with others, without mattering the extension that has in the matter. It is something that influences us all. And to close today, on February 22nd, we have two aspects that are not far reaching, but can represent opportunity, because it is a tiny movement, a decision in the right moment, the one that can produce this chain reaction that can change actually our lives in a better way. So first we have Mars in Aquarius in a sextile with Chiron in Aries. This is something that Mercury, Venus, the Sun did before. This means that there is something that is already processed, that there is an understanding that was revealed, and now it is a moment to act, to assume directions, movements, decisions, perhaps facing insecurities, perhaps with fear of experimenting pain with Chiron. But in the case of a sextile, it is more about not allowing that pain or that conditioning that the pain have created keep continuing to limit our decisions. There is this possibility of detachment that is not rejecting what we are feeling, but we observe that and we still continue in what we know that produces evolution. And this same day, Venus in Pisces is going to make a trine with Jupiter retrograde in Cancer. Mercury also does this aspect on the day of the eclipse. So there could be a fruit, a manifestation, whether if it's something that we are expressing or life brings, that is aligned with a desire of the soul, or that can approach us to a desire of the soul. Could be a conscious choice that we understand that is aligned with that, or it could be an expansive result of something that we have invested energy, very, very aligned with our hearts, with something that is nourishing, or that are making us feel at home in ourselves. So I am going to end this video here today. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.